Welcome to the lounge, everyone. 2022, new videos, new exciting topics. It will be a great year. So, without further rambling on, let's get right into it. Today, we figure out some methods for creative people and how to get the flow back flowing. What always bothers the heck out of me is when we have a creativity or innovation problem and then we want a structured 10 things you can do list to solve that problem. It's creativity and innovation. There is no such thing as a 5 things you can do list or 10 things you can do list that immediately solves your problem. I mean, what you expect is in those lists. If you Google them, I have a creative blockade, writer's blockade. What should I do? And under the first results, we get, you need to put yourself in a new inspirational environment. Great, thanks for that. Or maybe you just need to take a little break and then the ideas will come back naturally. Well, if that works for you, great. Then this video is probably not for you, but it does not work for me. And it doesn't work probably for anyone else who has to or who wants to write some lyrics for their songs or to write some compelling and lovable characters for their stories, or if innovation and creativity is involved in their everyday job. The problem I want to talk about today is that we cannot solve a creative or innovative topic with a simple solution which is so staggeringly uncreative as a 5 things you can do to get better list. I tried to crunch everything into one video, but it doesn't work. There is so much to say about the topic of creativity and creation, creative blockade and writer's blockade, however you want to call it, that I split it in 2 parts. With the first part, I will talk about a few recommendations, some general stuff that hopefully works for you and everyone out there dealing with creativity. And in the second part, I will talk about one specific thing that's a bit bigger that will always work, that will always help when you face such issues. Promise. All of the following ideas focus on what I think the real problem with a writer's blockade really is. And it's me, myself, and I. The last thing before you go to sleep at night should be something like, "Hi Brittany, 9 p.m. sounds great. See you tomorrow." Those few minutes when you let your mind roam free, just before you drift away, might be the first time that day that your mind is free. And suddenly you have an idea. Happens to me all the time. Following that up, it is always a great idea to have something, to write something down wherever you go. When you're out having an idea, you can put it down. When you are in those few minutes before you drift away and you get an idea, have something just on the side of your bed to write something down. Next up is to confront yourself with your biggest fear. And it might not be the same for every creator, but for the most creators, their biggest fear is, what if everyone hates what I'm doing? What if no one gets my message? What if no one wants to interact with my art? And the trick here is, instead of having something in the back of your mind that bothers you and you don't really know what it is, it can be comforting to just tell yourself, I have a fear of this and that, and it's not a big deal. Everyone has those sometimes. I have it right now, and now I at least know my enemy. I know my fear, and whatever. Okay, and let's move on now. Let's do something. The next one I really like. Go back and think about what got you into your craft the first time. Reignite the spark, the fire that worked for you in the past already. There is this one reason why you started it, why you started writing songs, why you started writing stories or coming up with crazy good ideas. And this is the core of why you love your craft and why you should continue doing it, no matter what. On a different note, when tips like take a break, come back a few days later, work for you, I wouldn't actually consider that a real blockade. Then it's just a little bit of maybe fatigue or just some time off and rewire your brain and everything's fine. But because a real blockade has always something to do with oneself. A real blockade in extremer cases has striking similarities with burnout, depression, anxiety, and stuff like that. These kinds of pressure really show why a simple list of 5 things you can do to improve is just ridiculous. Because those things need to be treated differently. And there are many creators who can work on for years without coming across such severe issues like burnout and stuff like that. And others are more prone to it. But understanding why I might have this blockade in the first place might already be half of the solution. And that's why it's so important to think about. A method that is always helpful here with the whole topic of creative blockade will be covered in the next video. I will talk about one huge thing that people tend to do a lot, why they make it worse, and what can be done to solve it. Spoiler alert, it is not a list of 5 or 10 things you can do to always be creative. That doesn't exist. But more on that in the next video. If you liked today's video, however, you know how YouTube works these days, right? So, importantly, new videos are out every 2 weeks on Monday. And my name is Toby Roydell. I hope you enjoyed. And I will see you next time here in my lounge.